Hello and welcome to the HTL Hammer Down Truck Series for the Hammer Down 200 here at this high banks of Daytona. I am Kevin Young. I am joined by Carmen Sienna. If you've seen us most weeks, it may be a bit of a different of a role versus with Carmen taking the lead. But here tonight, I get a chance to shine my glorious pipes. But anyway, we're here at Daytona. Got a big field here tonight for the season opener of the Truck Series. I think it's going to be quite an interesting seat. But I'll ask this question to you, Carmen. What are the drivers looking forward here tonight?
Going to be a very interesting and exciting field here in Daytona. The start of a brand new season. 18 races ahead of us as we begin a brand new journey here. As I mentioned, a lot of trucks here tonight. I believe we're at a full capacity field here. 34 trucks. It is a massive field. A lot of tensions, but it's very palpable. We didn't have a great night last night. Everyone wanting to cleanse the palate tonight as we head from Myrtle Beach to Daytona. A lot of drivers that have a lot of really good plate racing acumen. We should see some pretty exciting racing here. We've seen drivers not afraid to put a 3 wide here, but at Daytona, you can make that work sometimes. It's just being able to be aware and understanding when to make those moves. Again, a lot of high caliber talent in this field tonight, so we get to see what all they can put on for us here to kick off the season.
Yep, you would be 100% correct. Already, just from some names I've seen on this list already from other series, both you and I have done, Carmen. I can think of some already, like Stefan Oberstadt, for instance. He won Talladega in the A-Squared Cup Series. Definitely a threat there at the very least. Jeremy Braille, another Cup Series winner in A-Squared Cup Series that won at the high banks of Daytona. Always front plate races. Ryan Pennell as well. But looking through some other lists, we got John Hagen. He won the Box Cup Series Championship just a couple weeks ago. And now he's here in a truck, ready to try to start the season off here at a very high level. Throw over a few names as well. You got James Wright, who also appeared in that series. David Plow appeared in some other HTL competitions as well, quite strong as well. John Smeal, Blake Henderson won the Box Cup Series Daytona race. So there's a lot of strong cars here that I think you could easily say they could win and start their season off with a bang. But it's definitely going to be a hard thing to see. As you see the 8 truck there have to take evasive action through the grass off a 3. And it looks like he'll get it back up, but a bit of a sketchy moment for Patrick over there.
You guys mentioned some interesting names here. I got to see at least a little bit of testing last week. You talk about John Hagen, Chris Pendell, Sean Pugh. The top 3 right now in the session. Nathan Estep, Byron Jones, top 5. Estep, we know he's really good at at these plate races. Arguably one of the top 5 in HTL competition on plate racing. We'll see what he can do here in a completely different environment. Those trucks very far and different from the Gen 7 machines we see on Monday nights. But here now he's sitting 4th, consistently up there in that top 5. You got Pacey Wygant, James Wright, Bobby Flowers, Lily Frazier, Zach McBride, the top 10. Again, very interesting seeing how things sort of play out here. You talk about John Hagen. He's going back to pit lane. There's Sean Pugh running around on track right now. Waiting for that group to catch up to him. I believe that's coming up behind him.
Yeah, he's not going to have much time, though. He's only going to have about 49 seconds left in the practice session, so not going to get maybe 1 lap at best to try to get a last second practice. After this, 5 minutes of qualifying, and then we just go right to the race. Usually we see warm-up. Not so time here tonight. This is all the last bit of warm-up these drivers are going to get before qualifying, and then it's all on the line.
It's going to be a very hectic night, as you mentioned.
So the clock begins to tick down here. 30 seconds to go here. It's gonna be interesting because we have obviously have a big schedule here. Obviously, we'll go over at the end of the broadcast show that. You can also check ABN social medias and HTL social medias for updates on the full schedule as well. But we got the Miami swing, at least the Florida swing, I should say, to at least start. So a bit of a change going from plate racing to Homestead. But it's been quite interesting to see as we are 8 seconds to go here, and we'll see if Hagen, who has the top time right now in that 81 truck, if he can keep that for get pole position in qualifying.
Qualifying getting set to begin here in Daytona. Again, 34 trucks going to try to get pole position for the first time this season. Qualifying now underway. A lot of trucks making their way into pit lane. It looks like Lily Frazier will be the first one to go.
Yep, it's going to be Frazier, Caleb, Elcher,
Eichler, yeah.
Eichler, thank you, Eichler. Yep, a few new names I have to see as well, so we'll get these pronounced. I'll get them correct by the end of this broadcast at the very least, but most of these I've seen at least once or twice. But they will be the first two out there, but it's a big smorgasbord of cars coming, so you're going to see on that top side of the screen there, and the little ticker, you're going to see a lot of cars flying by with times. So got a cool little graphic that shows the speeds of Lily Frazier right now. She is currently getting up to speed, currently at 160, but this truck is definitely going to be able to put the ponies down and go a lot faster than what she is currently going.
Hey, keep in mind here, they've only got one lap for qualifying. So
yeah.
it's a single lap. It's a one-truck qualifying, similar to what we see in HTL Cup Series competition. But obviously everyone running at the same time, so we'll only be able to kind of cherry pick who we're going to watch all together here. Everyone getting an expedited process here tonight.
Yep, one lap, though, doesn't allow the drivers to get that extra warm-up lap you usually see. So these times going to be indicative. So unlike you usually see with two-lap qualifying, first lap, some will go low, some will go high, set up for the second lap. Here, you got to be ready as soon as the line comes. You got to be ready to go flat. Right now, Lily doing okay at the moment, but obviously being the first car across the line, she's going to be the torchbearer, the time setter that the other cars will have to be. And looking at the grid right now, almost everyone is out there doing at least a warm lap or started a lap. So like I was alluding to just a tad earlier, this board is going to light up quite quickly, and we're going to find out who has a good chance at pole position in about lickety-split and maybe about 50 seconds here to a minute. But Lily coming off of 3 and 4 here, coming down to the tri-oval. She'll be provisional pole, at least when she crosses it. But will it hold? Only time will tell. Across the line, she will go. And it is going to be 52.34 right now as time's fallen. She is still currently top of the board. A few other drivers, David Plo gets a 36. A-Step gets a 38. But Pacey Wignant goes top of the table, 52.31. So they are the time to beat right now. Can anyone else match that? On board here, we're riding. Actually, we're still riding with the 71, I should say. She's now on her cooldown lap.
Trying to find the right person to get on board with here. We'll look at Overstat.
Yep. He is currently coming up to his warm-up here. He just left the pit lane here. So he'll exit out here.
Driver with a lot of success, won the season opener last season in the ARC's Saturday Night Showdown Series, as well as the Talladega race in the ARC's A-Squared Cup Series. So a lot of plate race success for the Carolina Beagle Racing Team. 4 cars tonight. We got Overstat, I believe, both Overstats, Patrick and Steven, brothers there.
Correct.
And then we have, I believe, the 38, Austin Mongold, and the 83, Jonathan Adams on that team tonight.
Yeah, wide range of numbers too. Usually teams like to get close number proximities, and here, big spread throughout the field of numbers they have. But Stefan Overstat across the line to start, and he is ready to fly with only a minute and some change to go here. It's gonna be one of the last cars to cross said line here to do a time. And looking at it right now, is a few other drivers, Aaron runs, including Scott Honziak and Lily Pelletier Sharp. Monensky, thank you. He's going to be one of the last few to do it. I think Zach McBride could be the last one here as he's about to start his lap now. But we'll see what the 88 can do.
37 trucks tonight. Had a late join of Charles Evans.
Yeah.
So the 53 truck joining in, making it 37 trucks. A big field tonight.
You are 100% correct there, Carmen. Across the line, the 88 goes. Where will he slot? P5 he will go. 52.34, tied with Lily Frazier. So interesting enough, the first car we watched set a time. The second car matched, and the tie goes to the car that does it first. So 5th for Oberstadt, Stefan Oberstadt. 4th for Lily Frazier. And we'll cut to the last car, Zach McBride. He's one of the last few cars here that's going to put down this time of competitiveness. So we'll see what he can do in this number 28.
Yeah, Pacey Wygant doing a really good job on getting pole position here. McBride 170 at the line. Enough for 13th fastest is where McBride will go, that 28 truck here tonight.
Yep, and that will be that for qualifying. So pole position to start us off, it's going to go to Pacey Wygant. Quite literally say the first name kind of dictates the pace, as they are quite pacey as they will take us off for pole position.
As you can tell here, starting grid, It's Wygent and Parkhurst in row 1. Mark Parkhurst made his return to HTL last night at Myrtle Beach. And continuing that good run of form, this time for 1776 Motorsports, as he starts on the front row. Looking a little further down the grid, we got Frazier and Blowers in row number 2. Row 3, Dean Clavitt and Steven Oberstadt. Keep an eye on that row. A couple of very good plate races on their own as we browse throughout the field.
We'll move on further. We got Breo and Ryan Pinnell. They'll make up the next row here in row number 4. Two good strong drivers from A Squared. Then we got Joel Rodriguez and David Piao, who will be taking up the 5th row here. And again, we got a lot of field to go here, but they had some good times there. Glad to be in the top 10. Then we got Jonathan Smeal and Byron Jones making up row 6. Moving on down, we'll have then in row 7, Zach McBride and Nathan Estep. Moving on to the next row, in row number 8, Angel Santiago and Richard Gonzalez. Row 9 will be Alfred Denny and Kevin Feemster. Row 10 will be Scott J. Ponziak and Patrick Oberstadt. Make up row number 10. Row 11,
and Oberstadt.
Fancy, thank you. Then we got row 11, Kevin Gibney Jr. and Casey Ellis. Row 12, Selena Thompson and John Hagan. Row 13, Billy Pelletier-Sharp and Christopher Pendell. Row 14, James Wright and Austin Mongold. Row 15, Jonathan Adams and Nicholas Don Francesco. Row 16, Blake Henderson and Scott Sprinkle. And then row 17, Michael Ciccone. Do you want to give me that pronunciation? Ciccone, thank you. And Richard Ode. Oh, sorry, Cal Eichler. Thank you, Cal Eichler. Missed my numbers there. Michael, then we got Charles Evans and Richard Ode making up row 18.
Yeah, Richard Ode in the last position. He's one of the last ones there, and obviously 18 rows in this field tonight.
Yeah. It's interesting that Charles Evans in 36. That's what kind of threw that off. But we'll take a look at the current conditions here right now. Temperature of 77 degrees Fahrenheit, humidity of 1, with a wind going from the north to 2 miles an hour. So not a very strong wind here at night in Daytona. Partly cloudy out there, so not gonna have that much of effect with the wind. Track temperatures in a nice little comfort zone here where it's not gonna play too big of a factor for these cars here, and obviously no rain on the horizon. So as the drivers get ready for warm-up here, we're gonna get looks like 2 laps of this. We're gonna see drivers obviously kind of go high and low here. But a lot of trucks here looking to try to get the first win here to kick off the HTL Truck Series. So as they go out for this warm-up here, Carmen, you got anything else you want to add? Anything else we should know as viewers want to tune in here?
Again, we have 36 trucks in tonight's field. It's a wild race. It's going to be a crazy time. Patience is going to be needed for 80 laps here. It's a completely new experience for a lot of drivers. Obviously, a lot of drivers racing together for the first time here tonight. You just got to be very, very aware of where you are. Got to keep your head on a swivel here. Again, it's just so... It's so important to start off the season right. No stages, I don't believe, here tonight. So... I mean, obviously, hopefully, someone corrects me if we're wrong here, but I'm not seeing any stages or any rules regarding stages, so I believe this is just a straight-up run, 80 laps, to try to make it to the finish. Drivers mean that. That means for drivers, there's nothing to race for in the race. There's no reason to push too awful hard early on. Objective is finish first. You first got to finish.
Yeah, long season, obviously, with a chase a couple months away at the very least. No real playoff lock-in system here, so a win does not guarantee you 100% a chance at competing for a championship, so it's about consistency. So you want to go for glory, but at the same point, you don't want to end up wrong way around, put yourself in a hole that you may have to dig yourself out of the next couple rounds. So it's a risk-reward situation, and for some drivers, they may be in a let's go all out, I want the checkered flag, I don't think I'll either be here for the full season, or I don't think I'll be competitive enough for the full season, so let's just go out there and get that flag. Others think they can win that championship. They may be a bit more conservative to ensure hey, I got a championship to win.
Going to be a wild experience here tonight.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't call it a new experience because we've seen at least trucks on this channel of ABN1, and we've seen HTL on this channel, and we've seen Daytona on this channel. But it's a combination of three that has brought this channel quite some success, and it's gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Wygen and Parkhurst, front of the field. Wygen starting off with the first pole of the season. Exciting times, but now there's 35 trucks in that rearview mirror. And that is the most anxious feeling in the world. Gotta get this start right.
Do not want to get swallowed by the pack this early. Some would like to go to the back, but you're up there. You want to be competitive. As Pay come off of 4 here, Pace Car's going to take the long, lonely trip down pit lane here in about a few seconds, and we'll be ready to go. Pace Car pulls off. Green flag is out, and away we go for the hammer down 200 here at Daytona. Those trucks begin to kind of fan out here. Already hearing a bit of temper on the radio right now. A few cars in the back not happy with the restart, thinking a few cars did not go. So already tempers beginning to flare here. But as the series goes on, drivers will learn cohesion and who to work with, who not. But that's why you can already see a bit of two packs beginning to form. They're going to have to get bunched up quick here, or else they could be left in the dust. But coming off of 4 here, first lap in the books, it looks like it's going to be the 0-0 of Pacey Wingent, who's going to lead lap number 1.
Still 2 solid lines formed up here.
Mm-hmm.
Very important for some to try to make that outside lane work early. Everyone trying to figure out what they can and can't do as this race, again, all the way under the lights. No variance in terms of track temperature here tonight, so everyone's got to have a pretty static set of conditions here to work with, and everyone's got to figure out how to make it work.
You can see that right there. As you can see a car already go down there in the second lane already in the inside line. So outside line losing some cars here at the moment. A few drivers actually wanting to get down here, and Dean Clavitt wanting to get down as well at the moment, that 46 truck. So it's going to be an interesting situation where some cars want to go back, others want to get low here, while others are going to be the aggressor and want to start leading and leading quickly here. That 42 is definitely going to run that high train. So here we are riding on board with the 56 truck. As you can see here, I think he's going to hop to the back here. He is going to put the hand out the window, wants to go back. Doesn't want to avoid another truck there as well in the far shot. Also going to take the drop as well. And they'll both pull in line successfully here as the corner's about to come up. They'll show a little bit of respect and let him in. Ooh, so see a little. That was switch actually cameras there. Pacey's going to come around here and lead lap number 2. So 2 laps led already for that number 0. That outside line now getting some momentum. You can see the 42 of Parkhurst not going to let go here with Frazier in tow. And a challenge for this lead.
Very interesting, looking at this so far, a lot of jockeying for position as the outside lane begins to work a little bit. Some drivers beginning to figure out what the line around them needs. Obviously, some drivers prefer being pushed in the corner. Some drivers don't. You'll see some drivers that want to be pushed all the time. Some drivers that want to push all the time. Mm-hmm. Frazier looks like it's a 3-car tandem at the outside lane. All 3 of them being pushed because I believe, if I remember correctly, that is the 60 of Pugh.
You are correct. David Pugh.
So Pugh definitely comfortable there, and Frazier just trying to hold on there, but so far, everything's worked.
Yep. And this is the kind of knowledge thing. If you're a teammate or if you've raced with some of these cars before, like some people come from different series, some from A2, some from HTL, some from wherever in the umbrella of teams and drivers. But if you race with enough cars, you'll know when and how you want to be pushed, how aggressive. We do see a couple cars in the back to get loose. You see a big fan out here So I just saw it on the long shot there. You're going to see a bit of a spacing here. I think it was the 40 truck.
40
is going to
ASAP.
have, yep. Looks like he kind of caused a bit of a stack up here. Caused 2 packs to form here. They'll probably get back bunched up, but I saw many of the cars take evasive action. But luckily we stayed clean and we stayed green for the most part. And that's not going to really affect the guys up front, but this is going to affect guys and gals, but it is going to affect the cars in that second pack. They're now going to have to try to work overtime to get back up to this first pack. Wingent wants to get back to the front here, now working in tow with the 71 of Frazier. So Parker's kind of a bit of a reversal of fortune here. Parker's used that duo of the 71, the 60 to get to the front, and now this 00 going to take the same reversal here and try to get to the front. But you can see right there, kind of going a little high to try to do something.
00 and the 71 are teammates for CH Racing, I believe.
I'll confirm that real fast. Yep, CH Racing. 00 is not part of CH Racing, at least according to the document I have. Teammates would be Frazier and Bobby Blowers would be under that umbrella.
Frazier, Blowers, and I believe the 39 truck, whether it's Pillar, Ellis would also, I guess it'd be Casey Ellis would be on that too.
Correct. Casey Ellis would be the other teammate for CH Racing. But already right there, a little aggressive side draft by the 71. Trying to do something here. Almost like they're racing, like it's lap 7. Now you got to race aggressive to a degree, but they're racing hard like we're coming to the white flag lap, not on lap 7 of 80.
Blowers trying to get clear and move up, it looked like. But that's not going to be the case as Wygent gets back to the side of the 34 as Parkhurst leads this lap.
Yep. So the front row has led all the laps so far in a combination of both. But you can see actually pack 2 for the most part. Well, a good chunk of that has gotten back up. You can see a few stragglers there. Kind of just hanging back, thinking we're not going to go caution-free. So play it smart, play it safe. Let that second pack ride. But there's always a risk and reward when it comes to this plate racing, and I think we probably always bring it up every broadcast when we are doing one, and we'll probably bring it up again in Atlanta and Talladega. But it's almost kind of a weird catch-22 where sometimes you want to be up front. Sometimes you want to be leading this pack here this early. You feel comfortable. You want to be in the thick of things, if you will. It gets the adrenaline pumping. But for others, they think about preservation. You want to be at the tail end if you can check up. You want to be in the second group if you can, as we'll ride aboard here with the 71 of Lily Frazier. Give you a good little check of some of the little nifty gadgets we have on the bar. Tells us the current position, how fast the car is going in MPH, and we'll flip over to laps led, where they started, fastest lap, previous lap, and also the gear they're in, along with a few others. So a lot of fancy little tidbits we have on this little package here at the moment. But to kind of finish my thought, there's that risk kind of situation where if you're up in the trying to get the adrenaline going, being up front, it's a dangerous place per se, but sometimes it gets the heart pumping, and some just like to control their own fate. They're going to be in an accident. They want to be the one that has the control of whether or not it happens. So already 10 laps done in this race right now. That lap, I believe, went to Wingent by a hair. Not maybe Parkhurst, but regardless, both cars still continuing the lockout of the front row and laps led, taking 2 lanes. I think on board here, you also get kind of a nice little perspective of, with Frazier and Wignan, at least to a degree, you kind of can see how a driver likes to be pushed, how they like to be kind of used in the corners. Some, like, again, like you were talking about earlier, Carmen, like to be pushed in the corners. Others do not want to be touched at all. Others, it just comes down to variation. And in that regard, you can see right there, the 71 was really giving the 0 a good shove down the straight, but now the 00 has head down to the inside line, leaving the 71 alone on the high groove for the moment, but lap led by the 00.
And that's a very interesting perspective that, I don't think we talk about too often. When you have when you're in that outer lane, and someone leaves that lane, like say like the 00 of Wygent moved down into the inside lane, the outside lane's perspective of the top 3 trucks has to change. Because Frazier's no longer following. Frazier's now the leader. And for Pugh, the 60 truck, his perspective's got to go from, okay, I'm third car in line, to now I've got to be on the 71 truck and I've got to push. And you've got to be on it. Like, you have to be aware of what's going on at all times. Even if, like, you're 6-7 trucks deep in this line, you still have to be aware of who's doing what, because you have to be ready for checkups. You have to be ready to, okay, is this, who's leading this line? How comfortable do I feel with this line right now? You have to have eyes at least 6 cars forward, and that's so difficult. And it's something that's always evolving here at these plate tracks. And obviously, like right now, we're early on. We've not seen a lot of 3 wide, at least definitely not near the front of the field so far. And that's really helped out. When it does go 3 wide, and we will see it at some point in this 80-lap race, when we see it 3 wide, you've got to have your head on a swivel because you got to look behind you, in front of you, and then you've got to be able to look further in front of you. And that is so hard to manage while also trying to keep your truck in the lines.
I was just about to say, I think we're already going to see a 3 wide here at the moment.
There you
3
go.
pulled out along with the 5. So Richard Gonzalez and Kevin Gibney Jr. both decided to take a chance here, kind of split the 71's lane here. You can see at the moment they're powering forward. They took a lot of cars with that high groove following the 5 now. So bit of a revolt against the leader of the train, at least at the very least. The 60 and the 71 both going to try to cover up here to cover it off. But it's kind of a risk-reward situation at the moment. They could try to unify the lines again. It looks like they're going to try 40, almost 60, I should say. Almost gets kind of a little squirrely there. Almost gets sent into the wall. Bit of a scary moment if you're the 5, seeing that in front of your mirror. But luckily, they keep it pointing the right direction. But you can already see right now, they are playing with aggressive strategy here at the moment. You can see in that middle right there, Blake Henderson trying to take advantage of this opportunity to stuck up into the middle here to get linked up with that 48 truck of Jones.
Yeah, Henderson's not had a great start to the HTL Cup Series season. Really, you can say his year after winning the AVN Daytona 300 has gone downhill pretty quickly. Henderson trying to, with all his might, correct the course at a track that he's had success at. Right now, sitting 3rd in line, I believe Wygent went to that outside, the middle lane as well. So it's Wygent, Jones, and Henderson in the middle lane, and then you got Parkhurst in the inside lane, and then I believe. You have to look all the way down, but I'm not sure who's on the outside lane still or leading that outside lane. It looks like it's the 34 Blowers.
Yeah, 34 Blowers with a 71 Frazier and the 60 of David Blue, all pushing on that high line along with the 5 and the 3.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the 5 and 3 tried to make a line work. It ended up not really working, and they ended up kind of, the 2 cars that were leading the pack there, the 71 and the 60, both follow in suit. And now we have a bit of a change up front. So the middle lane kind of opportunized itself up. And now Blake Henderson, he's not tired of sitting around the 0 and the 48. Teammates, I'd assume, with similar paint schemes, going to push on. And you can see Blake Henderson not going to want to sit around. He wants to lead this thing up front. He wants to have a bit of control here, as he's going to have some assistance in tow from the 21 of Alfred Denny. So 2 Snow teammates teaming up here to try to get that 25 to the front.
Henderson started this race in 30th position, or 31st position, I should say. Started this race outside the top 30 right now, hanging around the outside lane, staying 3 wide, and that's the issue right now. Is that inside, that middle outside lane is now down to 3 trucks.
Yeah, they're going to lose momentum here quickly unless a few cars can on that middle lane elect to go high here. We'll see what the 9 truck does of Rodriguez. What lane will he pick here? You can see he's kind of being a bit indecisive, kind of double dipping from the well, but he's gonna have the 34 and the 71 coming quick, and he'll have to make a decision here. It looks like he'll go middle at the moment, and it looks like he'll leave that 3 truck moment ahead. But the 00 right now with that middle lane push, currently the fastest head, but Blake Henderson getting a good shot here out of the corner. The problem is, though, I don't like the odds either car can get enough distance to clear at the moment. No one really can, because there seems to be a lot of space here. These first 4 rows are all kind of there, and then it's an inside train here on back. So in a weird situation, we're seeing the front be very racy and the middle be not as racy, which is the problem. Is if one car makes a mistake, it's going to send a lot of cars gambling into this middle section here. So hopefully they can keep it nice and tidy here on lap 17. See a lap down truck there on the inside. He'll hold the bottom, and we'll keep it nice and tight. They are going to catch another one here soon, the 24 of Nicholas Don Francesco, who's got a chance to go 1 down here.
Wygent gets clear, moves to the inside lane, leaves Byron Jones, and the 45 of Eichler in that middle lane. But I think it's very interesting how the plate racing ecosystem works here, because a lot of the drivers that were in that middle lane said, you know what, I'm good, and backed out of it. And it really kind of forced everyone to sort of pick and choose where they wanted to go here. A lot of smart racing going on so far, 17 laps in, and on lap 18 now. Eichler sitting up there in the top 3. Phenomenal job for him so far. Wygant leads. Jones, however, wants to take the race lead away. But that inside lane is a big determining factor as to how successful the other lanes are. If the inside lane checks up, everyone will go to the outside lanes, whether it's lane 2 or lane 3. If that inside lane is calm and subdued and calm and well-mannered, I should say, then everyone's going to want to kind of stay down there. And you're going to see everyone now going 2 by 2. But that's because the craziness at the front of the field is gone. That 3 wide's no longer there, as I believe pit stops are going to be happening.
I was just about to try to interject there. A few cars calling for pit stops there. I know the 9 was throwing it in there, so it looked like a few cars were leaning in. Not a lot, though, go down the pit lane at the moment. Only see 3 cars doing it, the 42, the 41, and the 77. Parkers, Scott, and Scotty Sprinkle all coming in at the moment, along with Casey Ellis. So only a few cars electing to kind of get out of this jumble and pit here. And the downside is they don't have a lot of bodies to kind of go back up to the front here. But now we're going to see another wave in here. Seeing Patrick Oberstadt, Jeremy Breo, Dean Clavitt, Caleb Eckler, a few others. Ryan Pinnell, just throw a wheel down here. We're going to see a lot of cars pull down here. It's going to get quite crowded as the inside line is basically lacked up with cars. And only a few cars may stay out here. But away we go. Almost a good chunk of the field here. It's going to get boxy. And what if anyone's going to stay out there try to avoid it?
It's going to get very, very, very wild. A lot of trucks coming down pit lane. Some trucks stayed out. We'll follow this group on pit lane. This is the largest group.
Actually, cars stayed out. Only one. Lily Frazier did not get the memo. She is going to be all
not going to be good.
Nope. She is all alone right now at the moment. Either she couldn't get down or she was just going to say, I'll see if anyone else stays out with me, but couldn't make it work. Now the question is, did everyone get woed down in time to make sure that they could hit their speedometers? A question. Right now, it looks like, for the most part, not everyone's getting out here with 2 tires. The fuel only stops
missed his box, I think.
Oh, maybe.
That's a huge thing. He did not hit his box, whereas you see Byron Jones did. He took fuel only. I believe both Eichler... Yeah, I believe both Eichler and Henderson missed it.
Yeah, maybe. See if I can go take a quick look here. A lot of trucks here to kind of jump through, but with such a short, with no pit stop time on the box, they missed it most likely and just kept going. Oh yeah, we also had a spin. The 9 actually got turned around on pit lane too. Going back to check the replay here, so yeah, it was chaotic, and I just think 25 missed his box while everyone was kind of pushing. But multiple cars actually ended up going sideways on pit lane here, looking back. So in a weird way,
pit lane. And there comes Henderson again. Yeah, he 100% missed that pit box. And that's one thing I was worried about when you have everyone coming in all together. It was not very well coordinated, especially for a lot of teams. You know, Teams of Motorsports did not have a lot of coordination in that pit cycle, and they threw everyone off. And now none of them are in this group. One group that is all the way here, the Arson Tendency, Rubbin and Racing, and then the Carolina Beagle team also presented here with Oberstadt, Jones, Breo, Wygant, and Hagen top 5, and they're all in this group as they try to break away.
Smeal as well. Actually, Smeal is not in this one. Sorry, Smeal's in the next train. He's in the half lane. But yeah.
Yeah, Smeal's at 46. He's in that Days of Thunder throwback. There you go. I almost said Dirt Daytona. Wrong media.
Wrong media, wrong time frame, a lot of wrong, but it's got the D's in it, though, the double D's. But regardless, you can see that 42 is definitely, the 46 is going to have to kind of drop back here, and he's going to fall into the clutches of the 42, the 41, the 88, and the 18. So he'll kind of join in with a second lunge here. But again, this is the interesting thing. If we go caution-free, which is, again, a big ask with a lot of cars here in a lot of field, and if they do make caution-free, tip to all of them. But there's that risk of you got to be smart on pit lane. You got to make sure you get your marks right now, because look at a few cars that made mistakes and ended up getting turned around. They are off of this pack here or at a risk of now going 1 down. So with the more green flag pit stops we'll see here at this rate, hitting around lap 20, we can see another 2 at least. You got to be careful. You can't speed, and you may want to try to work out a better plan instead of everyone coming down at once. at the very least. But I think that was a bit more unorganized. Everyone just waited to the last lap and all just said, we're going in now because we can't make it another one. So you already see that kind of second pack already beginning to form here at the moment.
And you see how organized how this like Congo line is forming here. Everyone's pretty well in the draft, especially like if you look at really the top 14, 15 trucks in this draft right now. This is enough right now to begin to start a breakaway and actually like pull away from the rest of the field and make this amongst themselves. You know, we had 36 trucks in this race to start it, and most of them were in that main group to start the race and that first cycle. Now, these 13 trucks, they can stay on their own and not worry about potentially being now swallowed up and pulled back into the fray and have to. And how that helps the next green flag pit stop sequence. Because
less cars.
Absolutely less trucks, and you can fan out more. You can fan it. You can step the truck out more. You can lock the truck up a little bit more. You can be a little riskier with it. Oftentimes, we see a lot of trouble with drivers. It's a lot easier to be 100% and push than it is to be 90 or 85% and try to tiptoe, because it throws you off your rhythm. So now these drivers don't have to worry about that quite as much, especially if they break up into two smaller packs on this next pit stop cycle. That makes it even more manageable. To happen.
Yeah, which is likely to happen. We've seen that throughout green flag runs here. Packs begin to break and break and break. You'll see 30 in the first one go to 15, 15 probably 7, 8. And then that usually can stay at that point. You can only divide so much before that just becomes unreasonable here. As they're going to catch actually the 25 of Henderson, who's going to try to like latch on here to this pack and try to be first one down and put himself in a spot where if caution were to come out or if pit stops occur, he could get his lap back. But the downside is they are going to be in chance here catching a few other cars here, so Henderson will have to race someone, presumably soon, to stay on the lead lap. One other thing kind of worth... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to kind of point out one thing with Henderson. He let everyone go on the outside lane. They kind of enforced that he was going to catch onto this draft here. That is a very double-edged sword, because we've seen accidents start because of that before, too. Typically, these lap cars will go to the outside lane and then pull down, especially in the exit of the corners. We're going to see more and more that drivers are going to hug that yellow line and force leaders to go around. That'll work right now. As you see, actually, that one, I don't know who that truck is. That is not currently got a livery on my screen, but...
That's the 8. It's not the 18, but it's a single 19, I want to say it is. I'll confirm it right now. Yeah, it's the 19 truck of Michael Sisson, the 19.
Oh, Michael Sisson, yeah.
Yeah, Sisson. So, yeah, he will now be 2 down. I saw him go down once and was wondering who it was because of the white livery. But, yeah, that's 19 truck, who is a bit slow, coming actually in the pit lane right now. So, but as we actually are getting a little bit more organized here, the 3 was able to get caught up here along with Pelletier Sharp and a few others. So you can see that now the problem is if you're like Zach McBride, Jonathan Adams, Christopher Pendell, Lily Frazier, Bobby Blowers, you're in a second groove right now, and you're not even on the screen yet. You'll see them in a second here come off of 3 and 4. There they are, and they have a lot less trucks here to try to reel this in. Being 5 seconds back, it's not the one positive. These cars start checking up here, they could be in a risk, as I think the 20 may have had Selena Thompson got sent to the grass here, and she's way off the surface, so she got a little bit of a bad bump, and she'll come back on the surface here. But to finish my point, though, is that it's going to be very hard for them to reel them in. The only positive is these cars start checking each other up. Oh! Selena Thompson almost sent someone in the wall there. Ooh. Yeah, Austin Mongol almost got in that accident. You may want to wind that up just a bit there. That was a very unsafe entry.
Selena Thompson already in the hot seat for what happened last night at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, that was not a good re-entry, and she almost took out 2 cars. Almost thought we were looking at caution number 1, but somehow we keep it clean. But I think one of those 2 cars she almost hit ended up taking an almost hit the wall, I should say. So hopefully they don't have too much damage. But to go back up to live action here, 48 leads the way with Byron Jones. And one of the things that's interesting to note here is I'm hearing a lot of chatter on the radio. Obviously, it's not coming up through the broadcast as we don't have radio comps on. But you can hear a lot of chatter between this lead pack. You can see drivers have their mics on. They're kind of coaching each other. They're kind of saying, all right, this is what you do. Push now. Don't push now. Obviously, some are in team chats, but for some of them, they're not aligned with teams. So they're kind of just sitting there, either in their own world or with a few friends, and kind of have this ability to communicate saying, hey, push me here, push me there, do this, do that, we'll get them, is very helpful in front to try to make sure you can get towards the front. So it's a good little coaching thing in a sense, and if you got someone with experience, you can definitely help someone that may be a little bit less knowledgeable and trying to get the best out of them, like polishing a diamond till it shines.
Well, and the other thing about this, like, there's a lot of teams that aren't communicating with each other, like, regularly. Everyone right now is willing to communicate right now because they're trying to make it to the end of this race. Once you get to, like, the last pit stop, which we're expecting to be about lap 60-ish, in that range, I think lap 55 to 60 is a good margin. I think, honestly, you'll want to get to lap 60 for the last pit stop because that means you can go 20 laps and be fine. Everyone's going to be coaching each other up until that point. Once you get to the last pit stop, you're done. Now it's that's the money stop. Once you get to the money stop, that is it. So right now, everyone playing nice and being very friendly and having that camaraderie. That'll go away at some point here. It's just a matter of how quickly for some, especially in this lead group right now, because everyone will be jockeying for position at some point. As you see, Saccone going another lap down that all-white truck, staying out of the way, pretty well just kind of logging laps and hoping that something big happens. Right now, we may not have it. We have not had a caution-free oval race on ABM programming so far, but so far the first 31 laps have been just that.
Well, with a few on the Adbox Cup Series side, but with Super Speedway packages, yeah, that has not happened. There's always been at least one creep in it. And with how they're racing, I'm hopeful, again, if all these drivers here make it to the end of 80 laps and they keep it clean and green, I'm going to give them a nice little hat tip because they deserve it after keeping this thing clean for 80 laps and finding some good racing right now. But we're not at halfway yet. Halfway will be 40, but right now Jones still leads the way. But yeah, like you're kind of saying too, Carmen, when we get to that final pit stop, the friendliness kind of goes away and it's every person for themselves.
Gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of fun still to be had here. Lap 32 underway here in Daytona.
Yeah, so we watch the action here, look in the chat here. We got somebody in the chat rooting for Ascent. So people in the chat coming out supporting the teams, drivers, who have you. If you're in the chat right now, if you're watching along, why not try to show us who you're supporting right now, who you're rooting for in this field right now. A lot of strong cars, a lot of strong drivers that could take home this checker flag still. But at the very least, right now, that 48 and 00 looked locked in at the moment with Pacey Wingent had the pole position, led a lot of laps, and still looking quite strong at the moment, being second car in line, and able to save a little bit of fuel, too.
Right on board right now.
So right on board
here.
Ryan Pinnell. Currently P9 at the moment. You can see started the race in 8th. So kind of started where he qualified. We know he dropped back a little bit. Now kind of just riding along here in that orange and blue truck. Not getting too aggressive with the car ahead, not wanting to push him a bit too toughly to make sure he ends up spinning out in that number 8 machine of Patrick Overstat. But respectively staying close, but not pushing too hard. Now we're right on board with a 31, Alyssa Pelletier-Sharp. Reminded of when the first truck broadcast is done on ABN competition. Pelletier-Sharp was in that race, and she ended up getting, I believe it was a P4 or a P3. She drove the wheels off that 18 truck she was in. Obviously, she's in a different number now, the 31. Yeah. Yep. And she's looking quite starting to try to do that again, currently in P8. Definitely doing it now. There's a few cars you can see in that second lane getting a little bit squirrely. But saw Kevin Gibney Jr. get a little squirrely, but keeps it pointed in the right point. But yes, tires been the fault. It's obviously not a lot of cars took tires. These cars are going to get a little bit more squirrely and a little harder to reel up. But now they're going to catch some traffic here. The 56, and I believe they have a car in tow behind. It's the 40 of Nathan Estep right behind there. So they're going to catch
Nathan Estep. Yeah, some close friends there.
Mm-hmm. So they're going to
two
call
of the
here
better drivers in the plate tracks have to go a lap down. That's a scary thought.
Yeah. Like looking down the lap down list, you're going to probably have them eventually, and also got a few others in that category as well. So a lot of strong cars here just making mistakes on pit lane or were involved in that chaotic pit road entry, and it ended up costing them dearly. So definitely gonna need a caution to get back in the thing as well.
I think Selena Thompson's in that group as well.
Yep, she's just a little off here. She's actually gonna get caught here a little bit quicker.
Yeah,
She's right between these two. She has no help in either situation.
I believe the first truck a lap down is Blake Henderson, so he's in the free pass position if a caution were to come out in this process. And the leaders will get around. They'll move to the outside lane, as Thompson doing the same thing Henderson did earlier. It's actually going to force a 3-wide situation here for a moment as Parkers tries to get around. And it'll sort itself out through turns 1 and 2.
Yep. It's always a bit of a sketchy thing here is when you try to pass someone that's going a lap down here. They obviously have especially in this situation where the car in question wants to latch on to something or someone to make sure they don't fall back and be in contention for the lucky dog. So they're not going to just roll over and die, metaphorically speaking, or go on the apron. They have a right to kind of stay there and exist. But if you got like 2 lanes forming here, it can get very hairy, especially if they pick one and everyone has to try to take evasive action to try to get around in that regard. But so far, so good as they avoid it. And until they catch this one car here, they should be a long time before they catch another one.
Yeah, they're pretty well sorted out now. Clavitt and E-Step now the top 2. Henderson immediately moved to the outside lane. Gonna try to get ahead of both Clavitt and E-Step here. Again, that's the race for the lucky dog, the free pass position. And I believe there is Clavitt dropping out of the way. He's like, I'm not good.
Yeah.
Live to fight another day right now. Also, pit stop's coming in soon.
Yep, I heard Santiago calling in. He is in that second pack, so it's not going to be really relevant in this pack we're currently watching. But if he's calling it out now, we should see a few coming in a minute here. So we're going to probably see a mad scramble to get to the bottom as 37, 38, because we saw him pit around lap 18, lap 19. Going to see him get just close to 40 or at 40, and then at 60 or around 60 for the final pit stop. So cutting it nice and close. As we do hear confirmation, Pacey, Wingent, and Byron Jones, they will both be coming in this time by. So hand out the window for the top 2 trucks leading the train.
This is very interesting.
How many will follow?
Well, this is very interesting because they are a couple laps short at the window. So there may be 2 more stops after this.
Maybe.
Because you have to get to lap 60. You have to make 20 laps per stint to be fine. Now that this next stint, you have to split 21 laps down the middle and pit on lap 59, or you've got a splash and dash leading this race.
Well, we'll have to see here. I feel confident they know what they're doing here, because it would be very risky to come in late and not risk, because we're seeing more cars electing to come in here now, and they'll make it 39 to 40. So it's interesting. But they have something in their bag of tricks here they feel confident with.
Yeah, the objective is to get the 40.
Wingent, Jones, the 41 truck, Gibney, Pelletier, Sharp, and they're the main in that pack that came in this time by. We'll see here on regard. Looks like most of them take fuel only, but we're going to see another little gaggle come in here. Second pack in. And now hearing more calls here. Patrick Oberstadt, 88, 42, all coming in here. So keep an eye on our screens here as they're going to come on in. We'll see how many fan out here. Another good gaggle here, but not everyone.
Yeah, a lot of the lap down cars stayed out there. Alfred Denny, the only leader that stayed out.
Ooh, the 50s spun it.
James Wright.
Yep. Saw that in the first pit stop window. A few cars ended up getting loose, getting the brakes down here. And it's done. Another driver has suffered from that same situation. We'll leave his box now, but going to cost him at least a little bit of time here.
Alfred Denny's in a really good spot right now. He is the only leader right now so far that's made it to 40 before making a pit stop. He is right now the only driver in the window that can make it on fuel on just one more stop as the caution's out for the first time tonight.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's for Clavitt.
Clavitt.
And it's out of pit lane.
First of all, I wonder if 21's going to have enough fuel to get around here 1 or 2 more laps. But second question is, we'll see what happens at 56 in a second here, but very odd spot. And looking at the timing and scoring, looks like he was the only car. But
I
we'll see
don't
what
think we have
iRacing.
it in our replay. We'll see if we do or not, but I don't think we have it in our vision. Oh, there we go. I'm actually going to get a decent look at it. What happens here? It just loops it on its own. And because he's exiting pit lane, it automatically throw it.
Yeah. Very odd. But them's the iRacing rules. So it's interesting to know because the cars that stayed out there, like Blake Henderson and a few others, got presumably their lap back.
That
or at
is
least
a
they were ahead
very
of Alfred
crucial
Denny.
point because Denny was behind Henderson, yeah.
So a few of them were able to get their lap in this regard and in turn stay out here. So we're going to see a bit of a alternating book here.
I think a lot of the leaders at this point should probably come back in.
Probably top off, make it easier.
Make it a lot easier to make it to 60. That is the whole point because you have two trains of thought. Either you come in or you stay out. I feel like coming in and topping off just makes it easier. Like you know what the number is, you're not trying to stretch it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a smart move, but I don't know. Like I don't know what some of these drivers would do. I've been pretty wrong on what drivers should do so far this season. So we'll see, but a decent amount will come in.
Yeah, at the same point, though, they could save at least a little bit under caution to try to get that extra 1 lap they may need or 2 laps. It's risky, but if they want track position, that could be an opportunity as well. But handful of cars, like you said, Carmen, came in. We got Alfred Denny, Mark Parkhurst, Byron Jones, Pacey Wingent, Kevin Gibney Jr., and Scott in the 41, Zach McBride, Lloyd Pelletier, Sharp, all in. So a few cars stay out. Hagen, Breo, Smeal, Oberstadt, Pinnell, Wright, all came in, then stayed out. So looks like a half and half situation.
It's been a fun time here so far. Race summary after the halfway point in this race, 41 laps completed, 39 laps to go. We've had 1 caution, 15 lead changes in the first half of this race. It's been exciting here in Daytona to kick off the HTL Hammer Down Truck Series.
We're seeing some things happen here. It looks like one truck was slow there on 2 here. As we saw the long shot. Actually, it looks like he got looped. It looks like he's gotten, it's a 50 truck of James Wright. He looks like he's got it fired back up now, but very odd. 78 also is stopped here on the apron as well. As you can see him right there. So very odd things happening here. Again, very odd caution called, mixed with some odd things you were seeing right now. 78 still limping around here on the apron. But irregardless, as he now officially toes, but irregardless, it's a weird situation because cautions breed cautions. And now that these drivers some drivers that were in the back or had a bad strategy call in the first stop, what have you, they now have gotten bunched back up. It's now going to be interesting to see how this plays out because now they've kind of given a second chance here to try to make something happen. So how are they going to use this newfound opportunity and newfound maybe aggression?
A lot of cars took the wave around here. Getting us John Hagen and Jeremy Bray at the front of the field.
So you see Maul getting bunched up here again. Like you said, it's going to be Hagen and Breo in the first row here. Then it's going to be Smeal and Oberstadt, Ryan Pinnell, James Wright, Patrick Oberstadt, Jonathan Ems, Mark Parkhurst, and Alfred Denny. First of the cars that came in on the pit stop of the caution there to get some service. So top 9 stayed out. Maybe have enough field. They probably can make it to 60 easily now with these caution laps, but still that bit of a question mark above the head. Everyone else 10th on lower came in for service under the last under the caution and will comfortably make it to 60. So we just see how this all plays with the differing strategies kind of opening up here. in this regard. So pace car as it comes off 3 and 4 here. So the rest of the field gets bunched up. Only one car currently out of this race. It's a 78 machine. So he's still currently in the pit lane, but Hagan will have control. Pace car going to come on in, take the hard left into the pit lane. Green flag is out, and away we go for restart number 2 here tonight. And Hagan gets a great launch. Rest of the car is going to file in, try to get low. To come off a 2 here, it's still Hagan and Breo. That second line is being led by the 88 truck of Stefan Oberstadt. He's going to get some help here from the 8 truck. So 88 and the 8, both brothers here leading that outside line. Breo, though, going to jump up high. He's going to cover off the Mossy Oak double 8 machines. So he'll lead that high groove. So coming to the line, another Days of Thunder inspired skiing. The 51 is going to lead this lap with the 81 just in tow. One more thing I'm kind of keeping a note of, or at least finding something interesting here, is there's some trucks here that we saw in the front pack for the first stint or the second stint. Think Wingent, Jones come to mind off the top of my head looking at this list, this board list. And now they're a bit buried in traffic here. So it's going to be interesting to see how they try to get toward the front here. What's going to be their game plan? Can they get to the front successfully to the point? What can they do? Will they try to ride here and try to push next stint? It'll be interesting to see how they play it out here. But first time they've kind of been buried in traffic in about 40-ish laps.
A lot of new challenges now. Everyone's got a second chance, second lease on life, with at least one pit stop left in this race. That'll be interesting navigation to see, because now it puts everyone back under threat of what we saw in the first pit stop. We saw where so many trucks had trouble getting to pit lane because they all pit together. We're going to see that probably maxed out with everyone trying to get to that lap 60 number.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's a weird spot where you don't want to be 100% leading the train here like your Breo or Parkhurst, because leading the train, you're not saving as much in comparison to the cars around. And if you're second or third or fourth, obviously you can let off a bit more, not go full throttle, and save the number you need to save that way. But it's also a weird double-edged sword, because if the cars in the back, like the Breo and the Parkhurst, they try to back up these lanes just a bit, if everyone's in unification, they're like, all right, we'll all agree to take it slow, then it's a good thing. The problem is, it just takes a couple of cars saying, all right, I'm not riding around here. I want to lead this train. I want to go to the front. This is a good opportunity to make positions up for the pit stop. Then they can just take the hammer down and try to get forward. So it's kind of a situation where you have to read the room if you're leading these two trains, and you got to know what the best opportunity does. But speaking of cars trying to get to the front, I said the 48 first time he's been buried in traffic in a little bit. Well, he's already took this opportunity to get to the front along with the 42, and they will take the inside line. The 3, though, going to try to clear his way in, and he will do as a 51.
That's clearing yourself right there. Breo's not going to be happy about that.
No, Breo had to take evasive action, get on the apron there. 3 left him with no room. Luckily, the 51 gives him a bit of a slack here, but at his own detriment, as the 28 of McBride's able to jump in front of him. But
and 28 almost did the exact same thing that Gibney did, because McBride cleared himself as well. It's just that Breo was pretty well covered for it on that one. But yeah, Breo, not the happiest camper, was not happy with how last night went. Finished second, got moved out of the way at Myrtle Beach, and almost got moved out of this race after 48 laps by Kevin Gibney Jr., who he's now pushing. And I have a feeling he's not going to be so lenient with that 3 truck anymore.
There's ways you can show your displeasure on a plate track. Easiest ways is not to work with you if you can. If there's an opportunity where the 51 can dump the 3 at the altar, not spin them, but leave them in a soccer hole or something, he may try that. But right now, you got to just kind of let it go here, because it's not beneficial to let go of the 3 here, but give him some bad bumps, do what have you, respectfully be a pest to kind of show your displeasure right there, right now. That 3 is getting a little squirrely. And that 51 maybe seeing a bit of red, if you will, not knowing what this street truck's going to do here.
Keep an eye a little further back, I believe. That was the 46 truck that was peeking down the apron there for a second. Had to back out of it. Successfully avoided chaos here. Blake Henderson back into the top 10. Was a lap down most of the opening stanza of this race. Second lease on life right now. He's just in the outside lane of the 25 truck behind Selena Thompson, who likewise already in some bad spotlight from last night and adding to it tonight.
Yeah.
Fair as McBride gets to the front.
He's definitely going to have at least someone knocking on our door probably after this, but at the very least, can probably be at least a little bit negated if she gets a good finish. Well, unless she gets a penalty of sorts. But right now, just trying to let that go. Assume she got to just sit in their mind that nothing's going to happen and can't let the pass. What about right now? Car on the wall in the back there. Frazier. It's a 71 of Frazier. She may have gotten up a little bit late, may have got turned, but you can see the 33 and a handful of other cars involved in this incident. Almost like a car park here for a moment, and that could be what you could describe as the big one here. But seeing
Beepster,
at least a few.
Saccone, Blowers, Frazier, all among those involved. Adams involved as well. Clavitt also involved. As the caution comes out.
It'll be interesting to see what exactly occurred here, but I know the 71's the one that went around to start this, so
we'll figure out what happened here.
So you're going to keep an eye here. You're going to see, well, we'll probably get a different angle. There's the blimp cam, right? Ooh, bad bump there, it looks like. Or maybe a bit indicative.
It's not a great angle there because too far zoomed out. We just don't have a lot of good angles here. Frazier's on the inside lane, and that bump comes from the outside. So let's play this in slow motion.
Yeah. So that
Frazier
bump,
just gets straight up hooked. Who is that hooks the 71? Let's see if we figured that out.
It was orange and blue.
The 24 of Don Francesco.
I thought it was going to be the 18 of Pinnell because it was similar paint scheme, but as you can see, the 18 was a little bit later in line, and he actually gets away with minuscule damage as everyone else kind of slides off here.
That was Cloud, and I think Mongold that got into it together, both in the infield grass.
So you can see already a bit of chaos here at the moment. Just a little bad bump, and for some cars, that's all it took here. But good, interesting to know here, a lot of cars coming in here. Most of the field is a little bit late for the window per se. Maybe can't make it the whole way here at the very least. No, you can. That was 60 we had to get to for 80.
You can't.
Okay, can't. I was going to say, yeah. So
no,
maybe coming in.
You definitely can't make it here. This makes it a 10-lap dash at the end if this thing stay caution-free. I think the reasonable expectation is that they won't be caution-free at the end here. Obviously, both cautions now in the second half of this race. But
yeah, one just as we got over 40. Car backwards to 60. The Slim Jim machine also looped it on pit lane. So pit lane has been a very chaotic thing. Yeah, very. Actually, it looks like Patrick Oberstadt and Pugh had a little bit of an incident there. But the kind of gimmick point, very chaotic pit lane here at the moment. Reminds me a bit of Indy every May, where it's always a bit of a scramble situation with cars weaving in and out. So anyways, all the cars come out here at pit lane. Mark Parkhurst will lead him out of pit lane with Byron Jones, John Hagan, Blake Henderson, and Kevin Gibney Jr. be the first 5 off of pit lane. And honestly, I just laughed for a second there because honestly, it's the first I've ever heard a score update in a league race for a game that's currently happening. So very interesting things you hear on the radio comms when you're listening in here. You can hear tempers, you can hear moves, you can hear everything, and you hear random score updates like it's an ESPN bulletin. But anyway, though, it'll be interesting if anyone else maybe comes in, maybe again, you can't make it anyone a splash, but if you come in and top off again, maybe you can get a little extra fuel here, but I don't think anyone would elect to come in here, but it looks like I'll be wrong as two cars
lap cars, yeah,
will come in. Lily Frazier. Actually, it wasn't Lily Frazier, but yeah, it was
Clavitt
Eichler.
was one of them.
Yeah, Clavitt and Eichler were the two in. Both lap down, like you were alluding to, Carmen. So as they get bunched up here, we will be going green this time by as the lights are out on the pace truck. It'll be interesting to see, again, as Parkhurst and Jones have been two very strong teams. We'll actually take a look at the race summary here instead. With 28 laps to go here, we've had 2 cautions for 5 laps under those cautions, and we have a surprising number of 20 lead changes. Honestly, I feel like that was a little low in comparison, but we did have that second stint where Jones was leading a lot of laps. So first stint was very racy under caution. First green flag stint was very racy. Second one was a little bit more mellowed out. But I feel like that number will at least be doubled before we're all said and done here in the next 30 laps. I have a hunch, if you will. But irregardless to that point, to get a nice little go for cam shot there. And we should see. Obviously, as we've alluded to before, cars cannot make it on field. They have to make one more stop or one more caution, presuming to get into that window a little bit more comfortably. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, but if we stay green, I'd see one more scramble for the pit lane here. But pace car going to take the hard right in the pit lane here as it comes off of 4 here. Well, a little after 4. Pace car going to take the hard, lonely right into the pit lane. Green flag is out. And away we go here again. The 42 gets a good jump here. But not seeing as many cars fan down as we did on the previous restart. CRC cars beginning to take their lane choice here. 51 Abreu went high there to the second lane. It's a bit of a pick your poison situation right now. Do you feel comfortable? Right now, do you feel more comfortable on the high groove? Do you feel more comfortable on the low line? The low line is the more comfortable lane, if you will, but the risk is we see a big move there. I think that was McBride who just jumped in there.
McBride. The yellow numbers there, 28.
Yeah. The hole was there, but he made it look a lot more daring than it needed to be. Want to take advantage of it while the iron was still hot, and he'll take that inside line. But to kind of finish my tangent, if you will, that inside line, the positive is more safe, but the risky side is you don't have that freedom of mobility the middle lane and then high lane will give you if you want to try to make moves here. So it's risky, but the inside line's safe, but not as advantageous. .56 here. It's going to be, looks like it's going to be Jones by a hair. Actually, Parkhurst, I should say, that leads that lap. To put another one lap led. So again, 2 of the major lap leaders tonight, 48 and the 42, locking out this front row. But the question is, will Henderson and Hagan, that second row, will they try to do something to try to counteract the balance here? Just gotten within 25 to go. Hagan not really having much help here on this low side here. You can see not getting as pushed by that 3 who is, it's a bit of when driving fixed win plate racing, the downside usually when you're in those hosted fixed races is that if a car is very squirrely, it's very hard to work with them. And that 3 right now is kind of giving me those concerning vibes as he's not being able to really plant it in that lower groove. As you see here again, you can just see how wobbly that car looks. It's not as planted as the 81, the 42, the 88 behind. It's just a little bit iffy And that can always be a concern if you're riding behind.
How about Gibney? Gibney's not even supposed to be in that car full time.
Oh, 7 around. Sorry, caution in the back. 77 spun or hooked or jumped down. Regardless, he is involved in the accident. Nathan E-Step, Scott Sprinkles also involved as well.
This is Scott Sprinkles, the 77. He got turned around.
Let's take a look here again. All I know is in the far side, I just saw that car sideways. And it's a miracle more cars didn't get involved, or at least spun around. But that will be our next caution of the night.
We're entering that stanza where, unfortunately, drivers are just done lifting. And I don't think we've really been to that point yet, because there's still a pit stop to go. This caution will shore that up for completely.
Yep. All cars will presumably pit here, top it off, and be mostly good. They'll have to maybe save one lap, but should easily be able to do that under caution when we get back. So as the cars check up here, again, it'd be silly not to come in.
I wouldn't necessarily say silly, because you could bank on a fourth really a fourth caution to happen here. And it's an interesting situation now, because we've seen this race begin to devolve a little bit. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and it looks like most everyone will come in here.
Yeah. Because, I mean, a fourth caution is got a high chance of happening, but it's not guaranteed. So it's not an automatic situation. So instead, play it safe, come in, and make sure you're good to go to the end, or hope for another caution that may or may not come. And if you'd not come, again, bigger picture here, if it doesn't come, you're right now with all the cars coming in pitting, you're looking at a P29 or a P30 if we go caution free. So the juice really isn't 100% worth the squeeze in this situation. But I think one car did stay out. The 94 did. So the 94 actually going to, yeah. And honestly, I don't think it's going to last long here. Listen to his own radio. Said he didn't really pay attention to the laps here. So miscounted. And now he'll probably be coming down here. So the lead will most likely be handed back to Byron Jones in that 48 machine. So 94 will get the lead a lap here. Well, actually won't technically lead the lap because he'll pit and then the lead will turn over. But at least get the car out front here, that 94 team here. Saw him in front early on in this race. Has a little bit of damage. You can see some battle scars throughout this race so far. But with one HTL Cup Series win under his hand here, hoping he can maybe recover here and try to get another one in the truck. Well, first one in the truck series for his troubles. We'll see if prophecy holds true here. And the 94 elects to come in. And it looks like that should be the case. Yeah, he's in. Should be worth noting, a few extra cars did come in as well there. So even though, obviously, we know we're 22, should go green around lap 20. So there's that risk situation, per se. So coming off those, firmly get in there. Kevin Gibney, Scott J in the 41, Zach McBride, Blake Henderson, Sharp, Blue, Denny, Blowers, Gonzalez, all came in there to get some extra fuel to make sure they comfortably get in. So as we're getting ready to go green here, we'd like to again take this opportunity. Thank you for joining us here on ABN1 for the Hammer Down 200 in the HTL Hammer Down Truck Series. I'm Kevin Young. I've been joined so far for this first 60 laps with Carmen Sienna, who's providing a good co-commentator role here tonight. We thank you for joining us in, and if you do like what you see, this series is going to be running multiple of the next couple months here, but varying between ABN1 and ABN2 around 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully you can come join us out for those rest of those broadcasts and see at the end of these 18 weeks which one of these drivers will be hoisting the Truck Series Championship. But that's still a long ways to go here. We still got this race to deal with at the moment to kick off this season. So it'll be quite interesting to see how this all plays out right now. But the three favorites and the three drivers that have led a lot of laps so far this race, the 48, the 42, and the 00, are all 1, 2, and 3. So it's going to be interesting to see how to play this up. And as you can see right now, nice little cute little graphic to show you our accomplishments in this series in question. Not that series, but in commentating in general and ABN in general. But anyway, pace car going to pull on in here. Enough about us. It's going to be on the 48's control, and away he will go. Good lunge there, as he's going to get a lot of help from his teammate to try to get them both clear. And they both will successfully clear down here. They feel confident on the bottom, and they're going to link up nose to tail on the bottom. A lot of cars electing to go to the bottom here. Looks like the only first car on the outside line, I want to say, is the 46 of Smeal. He's about 7 to 8 cars back at the moment, so not a lot of cars electing to try that high groove at the moment. Maybe a bit of a calm before the storm, if you will. You can see there on the nice little graphic, 48 of Byron Jones led a lot of the second stint, well, second green flag stint, if you will, with that 00 in tow. Now they're getting a little bit racy in the back here. Almost saw the 41, not the 40. Yeah, the 41 almost get hooked by the 28 there. They're trying to get adjusted, but you can see right there, Byron Jones, 22 laps led tonight. If not the most laps led, up there with the most laps led. Feeling confident in that 48 machine with his teammate in tow. But now, if you can see on that outside line, the 50 and the 20 and the 9, all kind of going forward here. Wright, Thompson, and Rodriguez, two teammates there, matching paint schemes. The 50 machine, all going on. Wright going to jump low, which I don't know if it's the best choice, but could easily work out, at least in his favor for now. They did just leave the door open for the Ascendant Racing teams to go from. But 18 of Pennell got spun. Round he goes. He's now slow in the grass. Looks like the 23 was also involved as well.
Santiago, yeah.
I think Scotty Sprinkle's also... Sprinkle, I should say, not Sprinkle. Scotty Sprinkle also had a bit of an incident there as I saw him pop up on the crash box. But we'll take a look at the replay here. What happened with the 18? He's in that orange and blue machine on that inside lane. See if we can find a good camera angle here to show it. We'll come from this angle here, and you can just see, ooh, kind of hard to tell there exactly what happened. But he ends up all the same here.
Taking that high shot. Nose of Frazier, it looks like.
Yeah, there was a car there.
Here. Yeah, Frazier tried side drafting and just straight up, I think Netcode may have assisted in that, but straight up hooked the 18 truck tonight. And Santiago, minding his own business, nowhere to go.
Yeah. Like, he didn't have a chance to react by the time he even saw it. Yeah, Bobby Blowers. That's why it popped up.
Blowers is in the 34. 33 is a different truck there.
33 is Kevin Feemster.
Yeah. They all got together. The Sprinkle got turned around because everyone was going to the grass.
We'll see how bad that truck is damaged, but it looks okay. But obviously, if it's got some damage, it may be a bit of curtains. So, handful of cars elected to come in here. Again, want to firmly, so some will stay out. Feel like they've saved enough to get to the end here. Other cars electing to come in here, top it off, make sure they have enough here for the finish to get to the finish, not have to worry about saving. So, mixed bag here. But at the very least, there's one thing worth noting is all cars should in theory, be good to go to the end here, as pit stop win is only 20 laps, and most of the cars that stayed out pitted around lap 60, so they should be good with the saving. But you see a few cars really trying to get that extra mileage out of it by taking the shortest way around. Looking at the chat, I know Drade was popping off for Ascension early on in this race. And now, Ascent, and now those cars currently one of them is leading the race here. The 9, I think, came in. So, at the very least, Ascent going strong at the front here at the moment with 17 to go. So fourth caution of the night here. They should bunch up next time by here. They should be going green with 15 to go if my math is correct. Feels like this race has flown by, but usually in the situation where we've seen plate racing can always provide a bit of chaos, and I don't think we're done quite yet. Whether that be with chaos, cautions, or something else, I think we're far from seeing the end of this thing and the excitement it brings. Will get bunched up here. Thompson will go low, Wright will go high as indicative to iRacing. Rest will begin to file up here. Still a good chunk of cars here on the lead lap. All still fighting to win this thing here. My count is correct. I believe we have 26 on the lead lap. 27, actually, I should say. So a lot of cars here still fighting, some obviously a lot more wounded than other ones. But it's the nature of the beast here at Daytona. It's very unlikely you come out with a little bit of scars on the paint or the machine or what have you. Those who can avoid it usually bring home that check flag in the best droves. Right now, it's Thompson and Wright on the front row with Scott and Alfred Denny in row 2 and John Hagan and Lee Frazier in row 3.
Snansky and Denny row 3 there. Snansky filling in for John Gutekunst for 1776 Motorsports. And now for Denny racing for Tombstone tonight in the number 21 truck.
So what do James Wright and Selena Thompson have in the bag of tricks? Interested to see if they can hold it or work together or do what they need to try to preserve this lead and win. But regardless of that point, pace car is going to take the lonely trip down pit lane here. And it's going to be on Thompson's control. Main flag is out. And away we go again. You can see unlike the last restart, a lot of cars here pushing aggressively here. Push comes to shove moments here. And neither giving an inch. It can lead the path to the path of greatness, but also the path of ruin. The 20 and the 41 are pushing hard on the inside line. You can already see a third line forming. It's the 40, it's the 00 and the 48. They want to go back to the front. They were there before the caution came out. And they want back up to the front. They want their front row tickets back. With 14 to go, they're making that third line work. They also even bring in the 42 in tow. Second line's beginning to lose. The middle line starting to lose a little bit of people here. Cars beginning to kind of pick the lane they chose. 50 blocks it off. 41 gets turned, and we're going to have a caution right in front of the field. Multiple cars involved, taking evasive action, and that is going to be probably what you could call the big one, as multiple cars involved here. Danny, Oberstadt, 41, Feemster, Breo, Santiago, Gonzalez, all involved. Smeal. We'll have to take another look at that because that was very chaotic, but it all starts with the 41 going sideways, and at that point, it was just everyone was trying to pick a lane and hope that it worked out for the best. So here's the replay again, a little bit later in the incident. You can see the 41 right there. All right, car is beginning to fan. Ooh, was it a... We'll play it at full speed here. We'll see if we can find a good angle here. Is it a bad bump or is it a side draft gone wrong? So you can see Smeal goes up the block. Oh, it was a bad side draft, it seems.
Just like the last caution, yeah.
Sends the 41 up and nowhere for that 48-00 combo to go, as they were just innocent bystanders. And at that point, cars are just trying to fan the pick a lane. And then you can see I think the 40 machine get a little bit loose there. Hooks another car there, another car going way to the inside line. So it looked a lot worse than it was. Most cars are able to avoid it. Oh, almost saw another car hit another one there, but most get away with it, but a couple of cars got heavy damage there. Coming in, noting of the cars coming in, we got Parkhurst, Gibney, Wingent, Sharp, Jones, Pugh, Breo, Gonzalez, Smeal, 41, Denny. A lot of those were involved in that incident. And I'm going to try to just tape up the car here. 24 will get a lap back here. Nicholas Don Francesco gets back on the lead lap here. Spent a lot of this race a lap down. Now officially back on the lead lap, which will presumably give us 28 cars on the lead lap at the moment when it's all said and done. So when we go back to green here, we should be within the illustrious 10 to go here. And the question really comes down to, can we get enough green flag runs here to make something happen? But B, more importantly, what can some of these teams do to try to get to the front? We saw, like I was noticing that third line there, we saw the 48 and the 00. They were not sitting around waiting to go around. Teammates in tow wanting to go to the front. And now you got the situation here where you got two teammates of the I was going to say two teammates. The 9's a little bit further back, but the 20 and the 9 teammates could link up in tow. And then you got a lot of single car entries here, somewhat to a degree. So we'll be interested to see how this all plays out here. Friends are where you can find them in these late races. You work with who you can work with, but if you can link up with a teammate, it at least helps your odds a little bit better because you know what that teammate's going to do. But we'll see him bunch up here with 11 to go. See if any other cars elect to come in here as they get bunched up. Most cars elect to stay out here, fix them up. So you run what you got here. I guess within 10 to go, a good saying would be, smoke them if you got them. I think a lot of these drivers are going to be in that mindset right now. Go all out, get the checker flags. We'll take a look at the race summary here. Speaking of, about to be 10 to go here on lap 69 of 80. 11 laps to go, 5 cautions, 14 laps, and 23 lead changes. So Again, unless they get very racy, I don't think my prediction at 25 to go, coming to 20 to go, was going to be correct in the sense that number will be doubled. But a lot of caution laps have played into that hand. So not totally a fault, but another prediction you could throw to the bad wayside. Get ready for the final 10 to go here. Pace car going to take the entry to pit lane here as it will come off of 4. A few cars going to get caught up here, including the 77 and the 31. Join this tray. That will get us 28 going to join this pack. And one of these 28 cars have the check flag at the end of 10 laps. Pace car going to pull off. Green flag is out, and away we go. 50 with a great restart there. Going to get well clear, going to have his choice of the lane he wants. And it looks like he will elect to stay low as Hagan is pushing that 20, trying to push it to the promised land. Oh, Hagan gonna try to low there. 20 tried to follow. Almost got hooked. They keep it pointing in the right direction, though. And you can already see that, I wouldn't say desperation, but you can see the point where cars are beginning to try to go for everything they can get.
It worked out. Hagan got to the front quickly.
Mm-hmm. Downside, his teammates are now linked on that high line, though. And that will be another caution. 3 car involved, I believe, was the reason.
It's further in the back of it's further in the back of the field, yeah.
As they will let the pace car catch up here, as it is hauling to get ahead here. Believe it was the 3, but not seeing anything else pop up on the battle box worth knowing, so could probably call it a bit of a phantom caution, as everyone's mostly right. 39 comes out of pit lane, though, unrelated, so very odd situation. So 6th caution of the night here. Hagan did what he needed to do. He got to the front here. He will have control. At the very least, I assume not many cars will come in here because, again, if you've been out front, you've probably been saving at least a little bit to hit that number. And for the rest of the field, a little bit behind, they pitted to top off around 63, 65 lap, so they should be good as well. So not many cars are coming in unless they have damage they want to fix. Try to get the cars a little bit more runnable. Now, Carmen, I will ask this question just because I want to make sure. Does this series have, is it a run to the finish situation, distance is distance, or do we have green-white checkers on toe if we need them?
I believe we have green-white checkers. I think the rules are a little bit different to the Cup Series. Give me a second to double check on that one real quick. Just to make sure. We have 3 green-white checkers. Yeah, so they've got a with the Cup Series, there's no limit because they want to try to ensure we have a green flag finish. Mm-hmm. With the Truck Series, we have 3 green-white checkered attempts, so okay. A little bit more manageable.
I believe that was the case, but obviously different series have different rules. I just want to verify that it's the same situation.
19, I believe, that was Saccone going through.
Mm-hmm. Saccone confirmed something real fast. He is still 2 down, though, so... Actually, he'll be 1 down when he gets around here, so if another caution does come out, Saccone could get back on the lead lap. Give us another car here. Again, listening to these chats can sometimes be a bit interesting, to say the least, as it's currently the baseball hour, currently on with 8 to go, as it's a bit interesting to see. But regardless, field should get bunched up here with 7 to go and should take the green with 6 to go here. So we'll see how they all elect to go here. Obviously, if lane choice is in situation, Hagan is going to go high here. Feels like that gives them the best chance. And Thompson will be forced to go low, as the rest of the field will follow in suit, with the next car line right going low and Rodriguez going high. So in a way, it's interesting because with Hagan doing this, it does split up the teammates at least a little bit here. And force a different play at the very least. But the downside is, as we saw early in this race, the 20, the 15, the 9 all work together in some form to try to get to the front. So we know that they can work together and work together well. It does make me assume that the 9 can get to the 20. Rodriguez is going to do that tenfold, 10 out of 10 times. This is going to get very interesting. Caution sometimes be caution, but when we get to these late crunch time situations, they get very racy. And like we saw earlier, if drivers are willing to lift, drivers were willing to kind of back it down, let cars in, you're not going to lift here anymore. Like we just saw under the last restart with Hagan and Thompson, where Hagan wanted to go low and Thompson tried to follow, and Thompson almost got the hook for it. So no real situation. We're going to see a lot of blocks, sometimes some bad blocks, but it's going to be all good in the entertainment world and all kind of fun all the same. But as we get ready to go green here, we'll have 28 cars on the lead lap, from John Hagan all the way to Scotty Sprinkle. We just to see who can get that checker flag. So Penske going to take the hard left into the pit lane. Green flag is out. And away we go here with 6 to go. Hagan not going to get much assistance here. Gets going, but cannot get really clear of the 20. That inside line gets moving here. As he get a little fanned out, Blake Henderson wants to try to make a third line work here. Does not feel comfortable being in the middle, but he's going to get contact with the 9. Checkups happening abroad. 5 and the 51 also around. And that will be another caution. Could see that third line foreman, and I do wonder what exactly happened. I believe it may have been the 9 may have tried to come up. Or maybe it was a side draft gone wrong, but regardless, it's going to damage 2 good trucks there. Blake Henderson is going to have a lot of damage. We'll take a look at the replay here. You can already see the tail end of what happened here. Ooh, I think it may have been a side draft gone wrong, because the 25 was well on the side of the 9, but we'll let it play out here. We're right on board here with the LA Knight machine of Blake Henderson. So he makes his third line trying to happen. He wants to go towards the front. He's did this before around lap 15. He comes low, and he's still side by side. Ooh, well, looks like he holds his line.
It's the same thing we've seen in the 2 of the last cautions, where you're trying to side draft and netcode does its thing. But, you know, it's something that's not new, unfortunately, here. You side draft, you risk that opportunity being the case, and For Rodriguez, he's going to be confused because he's getting side drafted in turn, and for Henderson, there's nothing he can do. It just you're side drafting. You're being risky here, and this is unfortunately part of the price that gets paid here.
Correct.
I don't think. Obviously, I don't think just like with Frazier and with believe who was it was involved in one of the last cautions there. I believe it was one of the Pinnell was another one. I don't think they were intending to turn people. I don't think it was Pinnell that was involved. I think it was
well, Pinnell was in that
Smeal.
spin in his own regard, but yeah, it was Smeal's incident more.
But with them, they obviously aren't trying to turn people, but when you're trying to side draft here and the 36 trucks all in this race, like, unfortunately, like, you have netcode, and you gotta either accept that you're gonna risk wrecking yourself out and wrecking others with you, or have a different approach.
Mm-hmm.
For Henderson, it's gonna be more of the same, bad finishes all around.
Yep.
His highlight finish in the last month was an 18th place finish.
Ooh.
So he's not had a fun time so far, and this will not help. But he's got to look at himself, because the side draft going wrong, he of all people should know what that's like.
So when we go green here, we'll have not 4 to go. We'll be on 3 to go. We should bunch up, and 2 to go when we go green. So this is going to be interesting to see. We're not going to technically be in an official green-white checkered yet, as that would be close, but it will be really an unofficial green-white checkered.
Not a natural green-white checkered. Got to get you on the lingo.
Yeah. I guess practically an unofficial green-white check would be an unofficial check. I guess I know what I meant, but in that regard, it would be a natural one. You are correct, because an unofficial one would be one that doesn't count for anything, which is not the case, not at all. So anyway, though, we're going to see lane choice in regard. I would assume Selena Thompson's, I would say, goes possibly low here.
Thompson low to begin with, yeah.
Yeah. So right will go high. So Frazier will be pushing
Thompson.
Selena Thompson. And yeah, I had to think for a second.
And Hagen's going to be pushing right. It's going to be interesting.
Correct. Yeah. You got two Toyotas. Yeah, you got 2 Toyotas linked up on that low side, and you got a Ford and a Chevy on that high line. Interesting to note, they're the two high. Actually, those 2 Toyotas are the 2 highest Toyotas currently in the field. The only other one being Joel Rodriguez, who is currently in 23rd. So one of the few Toyotas in the field, one of the handful, currently P1 and P4. Going to link up here. Doesn't happen that often.
So keep an eye on this. Dean Clavitt in 6th position. Spent most of his time off the lead lap, gone back on the lead lap, and now in 5th. Or really in 6th place, alongside Patrick Oberstadt. That's wild.
It is. Good recovery drive for Clavitt. As you go through some of the stats, you can see 0 laps left for a line. That's something else we're noting. A lot of these cars up front not let a lot of laps. Haven't been up front majority of this race. They've survived the chaos, survived the danger, and gotten to the front. So you can see another 0. Ryan Pinelker, 11, 0 laps for him, 0 laps for Stefan. 1 lap for Stefan Oberstadt, 1 lap for Patrick Oberstadt. So both the brothers got 1. Smeal with 0. 60 never got 1 either. David Pugh, 0 for him. Alfred Denny with 3 when he led when the stint went long. And then there's Pacey Ryder, pole sitter. Yeah, currently buried in 16th position. So as the pace car going to take the left into the pit lane here for the natural green-white checkered. What can Selena Thompson do? Can they hold on? Pace car is off. Green flag is there. And away we go. What could be the final time tonight? I see a little bit fanned out here. 81 trying to push that 50 clear. Oh, a little bit of bump there. 50 gets into the 71. 71 gets into the 81. 8 gets turned around. 56, they're all spinning all around here. Multiple cars piling in. And that, if that first caution we had about lap 50 was about the big one, this one is most likely the big one. Multiple cars involved up in front. Heavy licks for a few of them. Try to see who was involved, but there's just a lot of cars there in that regard. You know, John Hagen was involved, at least on the point. Let's see, we got, I believe, if I'm looking at this list correct, it was Willie Frazier, Hagen, Ryan Pinnell, Christopher Pendell, Patrick Oberstadt, just to name a few there. So this will, as we let this field get bunched up here and get reorganized, this will be the first attempt at a green-white checkered. And now it does at least raise at least one question in the regard. Fuel should be okay. With James Wright and Selena Thompson, they last pit on lap 58. They're already a little bit over the required. Now with these extra laps here, they haven't been saving that much. There could be at least a concern fuel, but I believe they'll be safe. So this field gets bunched up here. A few cars will obviously avoid fake out coming down pit lane. A few will actually come in, including Dean Cavett, John Hagen, 41 Machine Bull. Take a look at the replay here. You already see it gets a little bit earlier where it starts to happen here. I think the 71 gets, yeah, you can see here.
This begins with the side drafting, and this one was legitimately aggressive. Like, the others, you're like, okay, it's a little bit of net code. Obviously, that kind of just makes it worse. Now, this is straight up. They're trying to squeeze the inside lane below the yellow line. And, you know, we're going to play this in slow motion here. They draw contact, but Thompson's at the door, and it pushes the 71 or Frazier down. Thompson pushes back on James Wright, but it checks up the entire rest of the field. And Oberstadt, he's trying to get out of it. He's trying to get out of that lane completely. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Frazier also moves back up and recoils, and now Patrick Oberstadt gets hooked, and it just clobbers everybody.
Yeah. A lot of cars that involved.
The 83 Jonathan Adams gets through pretty well. There's Denny in the 21, the 46 of John Smeal. Mm-hmm. But everyone else, good luck.
Good luck. Just got to hope you got in the
McBride and Ryan Pinnell got together. Kevin Gibney Jr. on the apron as well. Just a bunch of silliness.
Yeah. But this is the aggression you see when you get late in these races, for better or worse. For a lot, you obviously don't want to see this because again, a lot of good cars here just got taken out of contention because of it. But sometimes it's the nature of the beast. So some cars came down for service obviously to fix damage. The rest of the cars obviously still trying to get bunched up here and get caught up. It's in file. We'll see choose this time by, and then we'll get ready for the first green white check of the night. Could be the last. We'll have to wait and see on that one. At least it's the first. You'll see Oberstadt come on in here just to make sure, fix that car just a tad more. So back to live action we are. It's going to be Wright. Go back to the top here. It's going to be Wright and Thompson in the first row. Jonathan Adams, name we haven't said much of all night. He'll be on the inside, along with Kevin Feemster, Smeal and Stefan Oberstadt, Denny and David Pugh, Pacey Wright, our pole sitter. And think about this, Nicholas DiFrancesco was multiple laps down for the majority of this race. Now is currently sitting inside the top 10, one of our biggest movers of the night. besides James Wright, who's gained the most, our current race leader. But quick summary here, laps to go, 3 cautions, 8 we've had tonight. Caution laps for 21 of those, 8 of those cautions for 21 laps, and the lead changes, we have it clocked at 27. But will that be one more or less? I'll have to wait and see on that one. This is going to be interesting. So now the question is, Selena Thompson, she's been up front for the majority of this. We saw what just happened the last time. They're going to, the 2 cars behind you are probably going to be just, I'm going to say as aggressive, but just as racy. So, see how it plays. So pace car going to pull off. Green flag is out, and away we go. Maybe for the final time tonight. James Wright gets a good launch there. We'll have choice of lane. Feemster going to follow in tow. Rest of the car is going to start to fan out here. Ooh, look at Kevin Feemster going to go high 50, going to try to block that though. Cannot finish it off. Feemster going to have choice on the high line. Car's already getting a little bit checked up there, getting a little bouncy. Fighting for position, Smeal. And you got the link up, the 00, the 48 of Jones. They're on the high side as well. Brea now trying to take the middle line. Everyone trying to side draft aggressively as we go into 3. If the leader sees the white flag, this race will be over, but we will not. We'll have a caution. I saw a car clip the wall, but we stayed green, actually. Now the caution will be called. So a late call there. Feemster was hoping to see the white before it came out. That will not be the case. We will trigger green, white, checkered. Number 2, looks like the 25 was involved, along with a few others, the 60 as well. 60 of David Pugh and Blake Henderson were the major components involved in that, or at least currently stopped, along with the 28, Zach McBride. So the field catches the pace car here. So the field will get bunched up here. It's going to be interesting. So we'll be on the second green light checker of the night here. Lead keeps seeming to switch a little bit here. You saw just the aggression. Wright tried to block Feemster. Feemster made his move. And now Feemster will be technically leading this race. I have a choice with Wright, Thompson, Adams, Smeal, your top 5. A few cars will jump the pits. Their nights may be through. The 60 and the 25 look like they could be facing the, going behind the wall, if you will. This field gets all nice again. Could be a bit of concern, as a few cars actually do elect to come in here, but I think more of them are in the back with damage. Gibney, Frazier, Cavett, Oberstadt. Coming on in, but there is the concern of fuel. The longer we go over that distance, the less likely those cars that stayed out at 58, the ones that came in at 63, because Feemster, like Wright, Thompson came in at 58. Feemster, Adams, Smeal came in at 63. So there's that concern right now, at the very least, that fuel could be a bit of concern here. Especially if we get another green white checkered. But quickly going over the stats again, still 3 to go here, which on our second green white checker of the night, 9 cautions for 23 laps, and 28 lead changes. As we're getting close to that 40 number I predicted, but I think we're going to need at least one more green white check to even have a chance to hit that number. But I'll take 30 as a consolation prize. But anyway. This will be interesting to see how this all plays. Looking at the counter, we have 27 still on the lead lap here. A few took damage on the accident. 23 currently running in this pack we're currently focused on right now. All nice and caught up. Like Patrick Oberstedt will get out of pit lane before the time, along with a few others of Frazier, Cavett, and Gibney will probably get out as well and just try to pace around here to get as many points as they can. Kevin Feemster going to go high here. He's made his choice. With Wright going to go low. After that, everyone will follow in, out from position 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. But it's going to be Feemster and Wright, Adams and Thompson, Oberstedt and Smeal, Pacey Wright, Jerry Breo, Alfred Denny, and Brian Jones, your top 10 here. And it's going to be interesting because we saw, I know they're a little bit further back, but something is catching my eye to that 00 and that 48. They got to the front the last, with like 15-ish to go. They were able to push the front there on the high line before, obviously, the 41 got sent up into the lane with nowhere to go after an aggressive side draft. But right now, they've worked their way back up here with 3 to go, and they can find the space. They could be a threat to try to take one of those 2 cars to victory lane, but obviously, with them being in different lanes and, in turn, different choices, it's going to be quite difficult to get to that front from where they are. Right now, the catbird seat, you could say, is either Kevin Feemster or James Wright. Take your pick. Feemster will get the slight advantage here, having the lead on this regard. But this will be interesting to see how this all plays. Can Feemster hold on that 2311 Simware fire machine? Can James Wright keep that inside line in tow and try to push ahead, or will someone a little bit further back? Maybe a Jonathan Adams, a Selena Thompson, a Stefan Oberstedt, a John Smeal, a Wingett, a Bayo, a Jones, or a Denny. Anyone in that top 10 or even further back can win this race. There's still a chance that anyone could pull this off here at any of these lanes. So you got to tighten those belts up. Bring it on. This is going to be interesting to see as they come to the finish. So Paskar going to pull on in. On Feemster's control. Green flag is out, and second green-white attempt is underway here. Feemster, great launch. The 50 gets a little squirrely, getting some help from the 20. An 83 of Jonathan Adams. He's going to jump to the low line, take advantage of that missed spin by the 50.
They left Feemster high and dry.
Feemster not going to have much help there. 88 going to come in tow. They're going to be bogged down a bit here. Side's now beginning to move now. Feemster going to try to side draft to get a little closer. There you can see the 00 the 48. Told you if they get linked up, they were going to try something. They're going high along with Ryan Pinnell and the 81 of Hagen. They want to go to the front. Denny going to fill the hole there, not in. If the leader sees the white, we're heading, but we're going to jinxed it again. Another caution. Multiple cars involved.
Smeal got turned and got hooked from the inside lane all the way up. And now we will see the final green-white checkered attempt.
Correct. Well, at least next time, if I say the leaders see the white flag, they will actually see the white flag. Similar incident out of 4 like last time. And
that's not true. It could enter a caution.
Correct. So maybe I shouldn't say it at all. But anyway, though, multiple good cars are taken out again there. Looking through the list here to see if I can find a list. You know, Byron Jones wasn't involved in that, at the very least. Take a look, actually, the replay here.
See if we can get a decent camera angle of it. We got 7 different cameras, and I'm having trouble finding them which one. Again, look at the 46. The Days of Thunder throwback scheme. Looks like both of them are there because the 51 is not far away from that.
Actually, is the one pushing the 46.
And it looks like Denny. I'm not sure Denny hooks it. Oh.
Denny was kind of just there, and I think the 51 gave the 46 a bad bump. It sent him the opposite direction. At that point, he clipped in the Denny, and then Denny sent him up the road. Again, right into the 0048 combination again.
Yeah, because that's Thompson in the 20, Smeal in the 46, the 51, I believe, Abreu. Denny in the middle in the 21. See if we'll just go chase cam. Why not? We don't usually do this camera, but we'll see if it works.
I'm just thinking it was a bad bump.
Yeah, really bad bump there by Abreu, and then netcode, because of how close Denny is, netcode just helps finish the turn.
Yep. John Hayden gets by pretty much unscathed there. He avoids, but at that point, the 23 was the last car that got
huge
some air
there. 31 with Pelletier Sharp got turned in that one. Got clipped in that.
Yeah, if you were in that third lane or second lane, that hole closed quickly. So back to live action. You'll see the 46 here trying to get caught back up to the field here.
It's Jonathan Adams at the front of the field now.
Jonathan Adams made his move, called his shot, got to the front. Similar to what happened with the Feemster. But now the question is, again, he sat third place, got to the front, and made it work. Now the question is, again, now he leads the train on the final green-white checkered. See how it plays out. It's Adams, Feemster, Thompson, Abreu, Denny. Your top 5, as Denny actually was allowed to get caught up and keep his spots, but that thing probably a bit torn up at the very least for what he was perspired in.
Again, want to shout out everyone tuning in tonight. Spending your Tuesday evening with us here on ABN. We have one restart left in this race. Whether or not we see the white flag and the checker is up to the drivers at this point. But we have one last restart in this race. If we make it to the white flag, we will see the checker. However, the last few restarts have been an indication that is far from a guarantee. It was mentioned live in our Twitch chat. For those that are not watching live, grab the link from our YouTube and don't miss these races. Someone in the Twitch chat mentioned these are one of the most frustrating races because we saw the first 40 laps of this race were perfect.
Yes. Even I said it would be a miracle. I wouldn't say it's a miracle, but it'd be great to see if they could take the next 40. It'd be a hat tip from me, but sadly that was not the case to be had. And we just saw the aggression on the past 2 green-white checkers and the a natural one as well. So this is going to be at best interesting. This is going to get racy. Adams, Feemster, Thompson, Abreu, Denny Hagen. Joel Rodriguez is back after that first, a natural green-white checker was involved in that incident. He is now back up. Scotty Sprinkle. Remember, he was 27 for a lot of these past couple restarts. He's now up to 8th. Mark Parkhurst and the 40 machine make up the first 5 rows here. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays.
It all comes down to this. Pace car takes the left in the pit lane. One last restart to go. Green flag is in the air. Away we go.
Great restart from Jonathan Adams there. He'll jump up high, cover off Feemster. Inside line does not have any help. I think Alfred Denny's wounded car is going to hurt that inside line. It's going to take a second to get bunched up. 20 is going to side draft aggressively there. Try to make something happen. 33 going to make the high line work. Outside line's got the more bodies right now at the moment. And Phoebus is going to try to get pushed to the front with the help of Breo. So 28 got a little incident in the back. We stayed green, though. 33 going to get pushed clear. He has choice. He's going to get spit in the middle. He's going to get hooked by the 83. Breo going to sneak around here. And that will be the caution. And Breo will win this race. Indecisiveness by the 33 there is going to cause the issue here. And Breo made the move, took the line, and similar to the A-Square Cup Series, he will win this truck race as he'll have to make it around one more time with Hagan in second. Actually, I think it's Thompson in second, Hagan in third, as it will make the order correctly here. But Breo made his move and will take the win of this race here in a chaotic fashion. So as the field gets bunched up here, and Breo will take the experimental yellow and checkered flag situation. Thompson will pull in the second here as well. Again, we'll take a look at that replay as soon as Breo crossed the line here. But it's an interesting situation at the very least, because from how I saw it, Breo made a move. Feemster didn't know whether he wanted to stay high or low, got put in the middle, then tried to go low. And at that point, it was a little too late for comfort. But regardless, not going to matter much to Breo as Breo comes off 4 here. As he comes through the tri-oval, he is going to see the yellow and the checkered. Jeremy Breo in the number 51 Days of Thunder inspired scheme will win the Hammer Down 200 here on the high banks of Daytona. John Hagan will be second. Selena Thompson will be third. Joel Rodriguez will be fourth. Lily Frazier will be fifth. That will be your top 5 here. All the notes to note: Mark Parkhurst, Ryan Pennell, Bobby Blowers, Lily Pelletier-Sharp, and Nicholas Don Francesco. Again, 2 laps down, gets the top 10. We'll round out the top 10 here. But Jeremy Breo, your race winner in that 51. We'll get a nice little in-car camera shot there. Obviously, no animations or no real celebration button you can press to make the driver go crazy. But you can see the stoic AI probably smiling from ear to ear under that cockpit. Helmet, I should say, enjoying what this is. Ooh, he'll get spun or he'll spin it on something as the fireworks go off. Temper's a little bit high here at the very least. Teammates will come in and join in on the celebratory fun here. So I'll go nice down the backstretch and go through the road course hairpin. At the very least, though, on this shot here, at the very least, you can see the comedy of this race at the very least. All these cars torn up at least a little bit here. Some with minor scars, and you look at the 88 and the 8, and fenders are torn off on those things. Looking like cutaway cars at the very least. But it matters for not, as I assume Breo is going to come up over here and burn it down. Ryan Pennell actually joining on the fun too, it seems. Or take a celebratory picture. Irregardless at that point, though, it's a win for the 51. You can see here the stats of his race here at the moment. Jeremy Braille led 5 laps, not many laps, but he led the one that counted. Gained 6 spots from his position. Lowest of the race, he was at 25th. Highest, he was first, started at P7. So qualified decently, survived the chaos, and is able to take the checkered flag. So as he burns it down here, I believe we are going to have at least some interviews, if that is still on the docket here. We should get the top 3 in here at the very least, of Breo, Hagen, and Thompson. We'll hear their thoughts about their respectives of this race and what they thought as this race went on. So do not go anywhere. We'll hear from the top 3 at the very least, coming up right next.
Lena, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yep, got you, Carmen.
Alrighty, a long second half of that race. Turn yourself into a ping pong ball as drivers bounced off of you, but you somehow managed to get back into the podium places there at the end. Walk us through it in your perspective, just trying to survive that, because you were in the epicenter at the end of that one.
Yeah, honestly, that was really intense up front, especially if those last, 10, 15 laps, just trying to find who's going to work with you and who doesn't want to work with you. But just getting shoved around a lot was really nerve-wracking for me.
Obviously, for you, a fantastic way to rebound and recover after a rough couple weeks on Mondays. But, walk us through this process. You started this race in 23rd. You were down as low as 32nd at one point in this race. You led 10 laps. What is it about this track that just kind of makes it a little bit better for you, especially at these tracks? Because it seems like on the play tracks in general, you seem to have it pretty well hooked up.
Yeah, just honestly, it's like I said earlier, just who will work with you and who doesn't. But it's also, you have to have just a bit of aggressiveness. It's not just all pure luck. But I've always been good here for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I'm very happy to be pretty decent here.
You finished fantastic in the HTL Cup Series season opener back a couple months ago. You finished well here tonight, 3rd place here in Daytona for the Hammer Down 200. A phenomenal job helping lead that team to a 3-4 finish. Your teammate Rodriguez right behind you there in 4th place, with Homestead coming up there next week. How you feeling going into the second stint here in Florida?
Especially after this, a huge confidence boost, and I'll definitely be hitting Miami with some practice because I don't know it that well in the truck, so not sure how much different it is from the next gen, but really looking forward to Miami here.
Well, you did a phenomenal job tonight again. 10 laps led, gained 20 spots in this race total overall from 23rd to 3rd here tonight. Selena, before we let you go, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on the first podium of the season.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out Eli and everyone that has sent, Joel and Caleb. Me and Joel were definitely communicating for that race, so he was really helpful there. But also want to shout out Bobby, Casey, and Lily Frazier there. We were working together, and that was really fun to do. So, yeah.
Well, Sienna Thompson again, 3rd place tonight, starting off the season with a podium here tonight. 3rd place at Daytona with Homestead coming up here next week. Selena, fantastic result, and hopefully we get to talk to you again next week in Homestead.
Yep, thank you.
Phenomenal job, Selena Thompson, up 20 spots in this race. Not too many gained more than Selena Thompson. One driver that did was the driver that finished 2nd, John Hagen, in this race. We'll talk to him real quick and hear his thoughts and how tonight's race went. Runner-up here tonight at Daytona. John, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Alrighty, so another race at Daytona. It feels like another runner-up finish here tonight. Walk us through it on your end. 2nd place after starting this race in 24th, 22 spots gained, some laps led. but a whole lot of interesting perspective for you as far as how, especially how the last half of the race went, having to go through multiple restarts to get a chance at that race lead.
Yeah, I mean, I swear, y'all gotta stop saying that Goofy Tyler stuff or whatever. You probably said during the broadcast. I know it.
That's not me. I'm not the one that makes that reference. That's Christina. We were good on this one tonight.
But it's good to finish P2. I know at the end of the race, I can't remember if it was before the green-white checkers or the first green-white checkered, where I got into that wreck on that restart, pretty much restarted dead last and just made aggressive move after aggressive move to go to the front. All night I was playing tire strategy. Like, I wasn't really concerned about going to the front during those initial green runs because I'd just take two and get my track position that way. Nobody else was doing it. But, I mean, yeah, overall it was awesome. Kind of wish we had a green finish there. I had a good teammate behind me, and we were scheming up. But overall, I'm happy to finish P2.
You did a phenomenal job here tonight. I was able to work with some of your teammates there and some of your associates there with Stepping Stone and Jacob Schengle Racing tonight. Obviously, you were there. You helped James Wright lead some laps there for you. Obviously, a side place, not what you're hoping for, but entering a new season, a new championship campaign, Homestead coming up here, another track you did phenomenally well in the HTL Cup Series. How are you feeling going into that race next week?
The U.S. Army has different plans for me, so I won't make the next 2 weeks in HTL Cup or Hammer Down. But looking past that, what track is that? I don't know off the top of my head.
I have to pull it up here on my screen and double check here because Homestead I know is next week, and then I believe it's Milwaukee race 3, so you're missing that one too.
Oh, should we go to Charlotte? We're going to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Man, I don't want to sound too confident, but I have a good feeling about that one. I have a really good feeling about that one. This car is my bread and butter. This is what I learned the game on. This is what I run the most. This is the perfect store for me. I love this car. I love the tracks on the schedule. So I'm feeling real confident.
That's a good sounding there. Obviously missing the next 2 races, but we'll see John Hagan at Charlotte when both Cup Series and the Truck Series take on the Mountain Half Oval in North Carolina. A home track basically there for you, John. So before we let you go though, again, second place, phenomenal way to start the season. Much needed points there, obviously, as you have to miss some time there to fulfill military obligations. If there's anyone to shout out though and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats again. Once again, a phenomenal effort here at Daytona.
Thank you to my beautiful girlfriend. She had both streams, my stream and y'all's stream, pulled up. Thank you for watching. I love you. Shout out Stepping Stone working with me. We were great all race together. Shout out y'all and Blake and the rest of the HTL admins for throwing on this Hammer Down series. Thank you to Jacob again, painting me up, team owner, doing stuff behind the scenes, and yeah, we'll go get it.
Absolutely phenomenal stuff here tonight for John Hagan, second place here at Daytona. That was John Hagan, second place finisher here tonight. Phenomenal job by him. Again, some laps led, but a huge amount of positions gained, 22 spots from the start of this race. One driver that stayed up near the front as much of the race as possible is our race winner, Jeremy Breo, only up 6 spots, but a phenomenal effort by truck number 88 after finishing second a night ago in Myrtle Beach. Jeremy, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Carmen.
Alrighty, a wild race, a lot of survival there. You had to see a little bit of everything, just like everybody else near the front of the field. You got to see trucks get turned in front of you, a lot of chaos all around you, but this time it ends up in your favor, a race win tonight to round out the last couple days here at Daytona. Once again, holding your number at the top of the scoring pile. Walk us through it. A phenomenal race here, and once again, you're opening up the season with a race win. It's whether it's RX or HTL, you always seem to have a way to get to the front of the field.
Yeah, thank you. It's I don't know. I was just sticking with the team there at the beginning of the race, just trying to keep everybody together and like just stay on the same pit strategy, and just everybody just did a really good job at doing that. So that's why we were all together there most of the race. And then I don't know, about 20 laps to go or whatever, when they just started wrecking every 2 laps, that's when all hell broke loose. And then I got caught up in about every wreck in the back of the pack from 15 to go to about 5 to go, and then a couple of those green white checkers went my way, and I went up the middle on one of them, and like I passed at least 10 cars in one corner, so that helped. And then that final restart, I just pushed the crap out of Feemster and shoved him into turn 3, and I don't know if I turned him or if he went down to go block Adams, or I don't know what happened, but I know they all wrecked, and I basically just got the luckiest win that I've gotten in a while. But I mean, I still had to be there, so I wouldn't call it the luckiest, but it was pretty lucky.
Obviously, for you, you get to race here a lot on Mondays and Tuesdays. We've been seeing you more often there. You know, starting out the season with the race win again in trucks. We don't see you in these trucks very often. How is it? What is it like for you entering this truck series and coming in with a race win? Is this something you're planning on doing more often, or is this one of those things where you're just kind of coming in and doing this when you can? Because again, a phenomenal drive for the 51 truck, and again, a huge ARCS representation. We saw the picture being taken there before you began to burn it down on the front straightaway. What's the plans here for you on Tuesday nights?
I plan on running the full season. I don't know how the rules exactly work between me being a full-time HTL Cup driver, but if I can run full-time, I'm planning on doing it, but I just don't know how the rules are. But if I can, I will.
Well, we're going to be glad to see that number 51, that mellow yellow inspired theme on that truck. Phenomenal race. Phenomenal looking truck here tonight, and this time in Victory Lane at Daytona. Before we let you go and let you celebrate, and obviously get ready for the next week of races coming up, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, Jeremy, the floor is yours. Again, a race winner here at Daytona, this time under the lights.
Thank you. Got to thank you, Carmen, and everybody at ABN that puts on these broadcasts. Again, like I said last time, you guys put in a lot of effort, and we really appreciate it as the drivers, getting our exposure, and you putting just all the effort in. All these broadcasts are amazing, so thank you. I got to thank Steven, John Adams, Feemster, Ryan. Austin was one of our teammates, but he crashed out or quit or rage quit, whatever he does the best. But other than that, everybody else on our team, we did an awesome job. And thanks Mule Racing Designs. Gives me the best damn paint schemes, and I love this Days of Thunder thing we're doing with the trucks. It's gonna be awesome. And just gotta thank just everybody involved. It's a whole team effort here, especially winning these plate races. So thank you to everybody.
Absolutely a phenomenal job. Jeremy Breo opens up his account with another race win, opening up the HTL Truck Series season here at Daytona. On the top step, Jeremy Breo, congratulations on it, and hopefully we get to see you again a lot more next week.
You will. Thank you.
That was Jeremy Breo, the race winner here tonight. A phenomenal job by the 51 truck and the Rubbin and Racing crew. The RX Contingency broke it up into two different packs between Carolina Beagle Racing and Rubbin and Racing. Both those teams representing enforce a full 8 cars amongst those two teams. Did a phenomenal job here at Daytona.
So we'll take a look at the final results here. We'll pull them up right here. Jeremy Breo obviously gets the victory here with John Hagan in tow and Selena Thompson in third. As we go down the field here, we got Joel Rodriguez and Lily Frazier wrapping out your top 5. Mark Parkhurst, Ryan Pinnell, Bobby Blowers, Alyssa Pelletier-Sharp, good run there, was in the back a good chunk of that second contingency, got it up to P9. And then, like I said a little bit later earlier, Nicholas Don Francesco was, again, multiple laps down for the middle portion of this race, was able to avoid the cautions, get back on the lead lap, avoid the chaos, get the 10th. Moving down through the field here, we have Dean Clavitt, James Wright, Pacey Wingnut, who, again, pole sitter, was looking good to try to get back to the front, but just ran out of time. Patrick Oberstadt, Kevin Feemster, David Plow, Kevin Gigme, Scotty Sprinkle, Jonathan Smeal, Jonathan Adams will round out your 10, 11 through 20. Moving on down the order, we got Stefan Oberstad, Alfred Denny, the 41 is Scott J. Can you say it one more time, please, the last name? Ponansky, thank you. As we'll see, 51 move in the background. Nathan Estep, Angel Santiago, Christopher Pendel, Michael Ciccone, Zach McBride, Byron Jones, and Casey Ellis. Obviously, as we're getting down from the 24th on down, cars that are one down or multiple. Blake Henderson retired from this race. Richard Gonzalez retired. Austin Mongold retired a lot earlier than expected. Caleb Eichler, Charles Evans, and Richard O'Day finishing last in P36. So that is how the 36 car field shaked up here tonight in Daytona for the Hammer Down 200 here. Great racing throughout here. A little chaotic near the end, but Jerry Braille pulled the win out through the end. So at the end of the day, do not, as if you did enjoy this series, I guess you should say, come by next week, next Tuesday around 8:15 range, give or take, depending on where the stream starts, 8:15 Eastern Standard, on ABN2, as the HTL Hammer Down Truck Series will be heading to Homestead, Miami on Halloween night. It's going to be a very spooky time where one of these drivers will be looking to try to put another win in their column or make it double if you're Jerry Braille. But regardless of that point, it's been a fun broadcast. I am Kevin Young. I was joined by Carmen Sienna, and I thank you for tuning in, and thank you, and good night.